Hi, this is Vicky, also known as DragonflySoars. Today is Tuesday, January 13th, and it is about 6:15 in the evening. I'm starting a little later than I expected because, well, I got my hair cut, and then I also wanted to pull together video for the prize drawing for November and December. I had already drawn the names and put together the prize packages. Since I had... Somebody wants attention. Since I had forgotten to actually ever put the prizes on the prize threads, I figured it didn't really matter. Some of the prizes you already knew, and some of them I was lumping in because they were new, well, they had been collected. And I told you last recording that I was going to kind of do one lump, big ship out of prizes for this month. And then in the future start doing electronic prizes, either Ravelry gift cards or Etsy gift cards. Anyway, so, and if you go and look at the January Knit Whatever You Want thread, it does say on there that I will do 2 Etsy gift cards and 2 Ravelry gift cards. I was thinking, I already put it out there, so I'll just leave it there. I was thinking in the future I might just give the winner a choice. That I think I made all of them $15, and just give the winner a choice of whether they would like it in Ravelry patterns or Etsy gift cards. But I really, you guys were so nice about talking about the prizes, and really I am, hi again. I already feel so much relief to know this is the last time I'm going to do shipments. That after this, it will be electronic. I can get it done when I have a, you know, even if I just have a few minutes at work to get things done, I can do it and not feel so guilty about it. So, hi. I have this one on my lap and the other one is over here purring to death. So, you know what? We might as well just put in the prizes now. It's a little... I used PowerPoint to do the prizes, because what you can do is if you have a bunch of pictures in one folder, you can pull them all into PowerPoint at the same time, and so you want to import them as a photo album, and you want room to include titles. So that's what I did, and then I just added the winners at the top, and then you can save your PowerPoint presentation in a movie format, but of course it has no audio. So I already went into Movie Maker on my computer and added audio, but all I'm doing is reading off the names. So if anybody's not looking at the screen, maybe they will hear their name and rewind a little bit to see what they want. There were 17 prizes total, and there were 23 people. So 17 people won. I will admit that I fudged one of them. MISIM, Suzanne, very kindly donated a $10 prize, Ravelry prize, to all the charity knit-alongs last year. And I knew that Cece was one of the winners in the charity grouping, and she won something that I was going to have to ship, and so I swapped her with somebody else. And now I don't even remember who I swapped her with. And I'm sorry, Cece. It was just easier right now to do an electronic than to deal with the customs paperwork for Scotland. And I thought you probably would understand. So that one I fudged. But everybody else, beyond that, I just drew names, and I had all my prizes numbered, I had all the people numbered, and instead of drawing and looking at the post, and then drawing again, looking at the post, and finding out that the same person won over and over. I put all the names into a bucket and drew from there. Gave you guys all numbers based on how Ravelry said you were the chattiest, because it does them in most chatty to least chatty, which in our case is most post to least post. So, like in Charity, KPAR62 was number 1, and Crow Julie was number 2. So I numbered all the people, I numbered all the prizes, and I randomized everything. That was a lot of information, and you guys probably just want to know if you won. So I'm going to pause here so I can insert in the prize footage. Announcing the November-December prize winners. Java Pearl, KPAR62, MISIM, A Texas Yarn, Deb Knits 2, Lil Mermaid, L. M. E. Call, Apple 380, Knitting Mary B, Crouching Cheese, Julie R. Knits, Sally from Idaho, The Yarn Goes On, Kepig, Catham, Phoenix Fire, Tanya Twister, and that's all our winners. All right. I think part of the reason Tigger is fascinated with me right now is I got my hair cut, and I love the place I got my hair cut. It's the same place I got it permed. I really like the people there. I love my perm. But and I have this problem most places, you go to get your hair cut, and then they do your hair, and they put a bunch of product in it. Well, I'm not a product girl. And so right now it feels crunchy, and Tiggy keeps coming up and licking it. And and I was actually thinking about taking a shower before recording, but I decided that if I took a shower, I probably would just want to stick on my pajamas, and then that wouldn't be very good for recording. So you have the extra curly version because it's full of product. And part of the reason she did is because she was trimming it, and she had combed through it and so much while she was trimming it that it now was kind of flat and fuzzy. So she was bringing the curl back, and I totally get that, but I'm just not used to crunchy hair. Anyway, it's probably, again, more than you needed to know. Hi, Tiggies. He's back. All right, things I have been working on. I have worked a bit on my twitchy sock, partially because I'm on the ribbing. I honestly thought I would have the ribbing done and it would be bound off before I showed it to you, but I ended up not having as many conference calls today as I thought I was going to. One of my meetings I thought was a conference call was not. It was an in-person, and I don't take my knitting to in-person meetings. So I thought it was going to be done. I just have a little bit to, maybe 4 more rows, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, the next stripe will be another dark pink one, and I'll do part of the stripe, and then I'll bind off in that color so that the color doesn't change during the bind off. But anyway, I actually worked, well, I was going to work on this when I took myself to the movies last week. I took myself to go see Into the Wood. My Tiff, my mom, and my son saw it, and maybe his girlfriend. And my son had told me that he really liked it, and he really thought that I would like it, and I should make sure I go see it, even though he knew that best friend wouldn't want to see it. And there was a day last week that best friend and a bunch of his guy friends were going to play laser tag, and I had no interest in playing laser tag, and they had an awesome time playing laser tag, and I took that evening to take myself to the movies, and I was going to work on the sock, but I knew I was getting to the point where I was going to want to start the ribbing. I didn't have enough knitting left. I knew that while I was in the movies I was going to need to start the ribbing, and I wanted to start it on a stripe, and it was going to get messed up if I tried to do it in the movies. So I took a different project, and I had mentioned when Tiff was here that I wanted to knit myself a Chunky Dean hat. I had made some before for charity, but I wanted to make one for myself. And so I started one. This yarn is, you just stay down there, is Cascade 128 Superwash. And it's just Superwash Merino, so I'm not sure why, but it is incredibly soft. I made my son's hat out of Cascade Superwash 220, and I mean, it's perfectly good yarn, but it's not as incredibly soft as this one is, and I'm not sure why. But anyway, I did start my hat. I cast on at home so I could get the first couple rows done, and I like to, when I start my circular knitting, I like to knit the first couple rows flat before I join it, so that it's easier to see if you have a twist. So I did the first couple rows and then joined it, and then that's when I took myself to the movie. And I actually did start the little mock cables at the movie because they're not real cables. You have let me see. If this is the right side, you periodically take 3 stitches and you knit this one first, leave it on the needle, knit this one, drop it off, knit this one, drop it off, and then drop off this one. So what happens is this stitch ends up crossing over on the next row. So it's a mock cable. And I can feel that in the dark. So I went ahead and worked on it there. I also worked on it. My son had his very first show choir invitational this past weekend, and I worked on it there as well. Also mostly in the dark. But so it'll progress. But and I think I'll be happy because it'll be a hat that will fit. But this is the other skein. I was going to make myself gloves, and then in cleaning out closets to move, which is going very, very, very slowly. But I did clean one of the front closets and found a mouse live, still around somewhere. Or it might have gotten chased out because the cats and myself were all kind of staring at it, and I haven't seen it since, and the cats aren't looking for it anymore. So when Tiff and I told you there was an imaginary mouse, we were wrong. The cat was right. But anyway, I found a set of gloves, another set of fingerless gloves that I had made ages ago, stuck in one of my coat pockets. So that was a good thing. So I don't know what I'll do with the other skein now. Show choir was really good. It was a very long day. He took the bus from school with everybody else up to, it was in Colby, Wisconsin, which is near Wausau. Now, we've got friends in Wausau. So we had talked to them about going up there and them possibly seeing him in show choir, but also getting to possibly spend some time with him. Well, this was my first show choir invitational because it was his first show choir invitational, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect. But our friends have a girl who is, I think she's almost 10 now, and they have a son who is just about to turn 2. So Dad stayed home with the 2-year-old, and Mom and the daughter came to see us. They didn't get to see the performance, but they got to hang out with us a little bit, see my son. He couldn't leave the premises, but my guy and myself and them, we went out to lunch, which was kind of a nice break in the day because we were done watching him perform and now it was other groups. So then we came back and we sat in the hall for a little while and we read and knit and just killed time. Then they had awards. Now the music teacher had said if they made finals, they had to stay all night because they had to perform again. But if they didn't make finals, I could take my son at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then we could go out to dinner with our friends. But we wouldn't know until 5:30, 6 o'clock. So it turned out they did make finals. And not only that, they won first place. So that was really cool. But it was a very long night. We didn't leave the school until probably 10:45. And then we had to drive half an hour to the hotel. We checked in at the hotel about 11:15. We immediately left. We didn't even unpack. We didn't even unload the car. We immediately left and found 24-hour Perkins and got some food because we were all starving. And then we finally went to bed. 12:30 maybe. So it was a long day. And I'm sorry, I'm doing all this chatting. And here, I'll show you something. I did work a little bit on the trip. Oh, it's stretching. On another square for the K-Facet Afghan. I'm still working on the second to last clue. So I think this is clue 8. And I think it's my third square of clue 8, which means I haven't progressed real far since you saw it last, because I've been working on other things. I did knit that on the way. I knit it on the way, but I didn't knit it so much on the way back. I worked on, I don't know. I started to work on it, but I didn't work on it. I don't remember why. We were talking a lot on the way back. So, Sunday we had breakfast with our friends. They made us pancakes. We stayed and chatted for a while. Then we took my son home and chatted with Mom just a little bit. Went to his parents' house because his dad had knee surgery and we wanted to check in and make, just to be good kids. And so checked in with them and chatted for a little bit. Went to his house to get my car and he watched the very end of the Colts game. And by the time we were home, by the time we both got to my place, it was 8 o'clock. And we had been intending to run some errands, and we decided, no, we were not running errands. It was a very long weekend, and we went straight into a pretty heavy work week. Wow, that was a lot of chatting at you. But my son was really excited because he won first place. I do have something to show you. Since I was with him, and he had his new hat with him, I was able to take pictures. Now, I had told you that I really wished I had taken pictures of it open so you could see how the top of the hat and the bottom of the hat, the wrong side and right side, were reversed so that when you fold up the edges, it would be right side on the top, on the crown, and right side on the folded up brim. Well, he had his hat with him. He actually told me that he really likes his hat. He made a point of telling me that he wears it every day and how he wears it. I mean, he actually mentioned it a few different times, and one time when it was just the two of us, he said, "By the way, I really like my hat." So all the hints about wanting a special hat were apparently well worth it because he actually is really liking his hat. But I was able to get pictures, so I'm going to insert them here. One picture will show the bottom as the right side and the top is the wrong side, and the other picture is the other way. So hopefully I actually put them in that order too. Alright, and now I had told you I'm not really going to put a lot of pictures in the podcast anymore. That one I just wanted to do it because it made sense while I was talking. I also do not have a picture of this yarn that I'm about to show you, but I got my last time I talked to you, I wasn't sure if that blue Highland Handmaids was the last one or the second to last one. Well, it must have been the second to last one because this one is the last one, and it is called Tradition. And it is black to a, it looks like it blends to a dark green because it's next to the green. So it's a forest green and a light green and an orange and a darker version of the orange. This is in Heather's sugar maple sock, so it's 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. And I don't have the full thing here, but I thought this was very interesting. The yarn is based on this picture she took of the Maine lobster trap tree. Apparently it is part of the lobster festival. And I thought it was really cool. So this is made entirely of lobster traps and then decorated, of course. I thought it was really fun. So, the last few things I was going to tell you is I want to, well, one thing that I keep forgetting, so it's going to kind of, this is a weird spot to put it, but I keep forgetting to tell you, I am an Amazon affiliate, and I know there's a couple other podcasts who are also Amazon affiliates, but I don't ever remember to tell you guys. But any of the Amazon links on my page, whether they're links in the show notes or links from sidebar items, if you click on them to go to Amazon and then place an order with Amazon, I get a tiny bit back for the podcast. I don't get a lot. I mean, I don't even get a lot because even amongst like myself and best friend, we never remember. Even when he orders stuff and I know he's ordering stuff, I forget to remind him to go through the site. But if you think of it, or if you happen to, be looking at the show notes, and I always write Amazon on the side if I'm showing you a book or something, and that I have linked as an affiliate link. So, but if you go there and then you immediately place an order, it doesn't have to be for that item. I will get a little bit back. My understanding is if you already have things in the cart, they don't count. But I don't actually, I'm not positive. So, I just wanted to cover that because it's one of the things I keep forgetting, so I finally wrote myself a note. The other things I wanted to share is, well, one thing is a new thread I'm calling the What Do You Want Me to Share? Now, we talked a few episodes back about how different podcasts have, what do you want to know, or Ask the Geeky Girls, or Ask the Knit Girls, or different things like that, or, questions looking for tips on stuff, and things like that. I have mine as What Do You Want Me to Share? Because I want this to be a two-way street. If you have something that you think is really cool and you would like me to share it out to the podcasting world, out to viewers, that a new tip you found or some really awesome recipe or something like that, I would like you to be able to put that there too, and I will try and cover one item per episode. So whether it's something you want me to share on your behalf, or it's a question that you're asking me that you would like to know about, whether it's about me or my son or work, or how I do a specific knitting technique, or what do I do with the naughty kitties. Anything you want to know, feel free to ask. I can't promise that I will answer everything, because I don't know what will be asked. It is likely that if I do not feel comfortable answering in public, I will at least answer in private. But right now, I can't think of anything that I wouldn't be willing to answer, so take that for what it's worth. And I think Cece and Damaris have had the same thing, where so far there hasn't been anything they weren't willing to answer, but, just in case, there's a caveat. If there gets to be a weird area, I may not answer publicly. If it's anything specific about work, I may not answer because of confidentiality. But otherwise, pretty much most stuff I'd be willing to answer. So if you want me to share something about myself, you want me to share a tip, you want me to share and explain how I did something, you want me to share something on your behalf, there will be a new thread called What Do You Want Me to Share? I also have been really happy with the January Knit What You Want thread, especially the fact that we have chatter in there now. Previous years, we had no chatter threads, and they were hard to talk to each other about. We already have way more chatter now about people's projects than we have in the past, so please feel free to talk in there. Because you're allowed to talk in there, I'm going to take down I'm going to unsticky the "What are you working on" thread, because it's kind of not needed. If you're chatting and sharing in the January thread, then we don't really need a special "What are you working on" thread. At least in my opinion. So, this week, I thought I would share my resolutions for 2015. And sometimes when I used to be married, my mother-in-law didn't like making resolutions that said, I'm going to do this every day type thing. She would make goals for the year. And they may be a one-time goal. They may be, for her it might be, this year I'm going to take a trip with my 3 sisters. Something like that. And then she would kind of work toward arranging and making that happen. But it didn't necessarily have to be I'm going to drink 6 glasses of water every day type goal. So I kind of wanted to do something similar. And ever since then, I kind of do mine similar. There are things I want to accomplish sometime during the year. So, my resolutions, in no particular order. Ride my bike. Last year, I bought a bike. I was really excited about the idea of biking. I used to love biking. And I brought my bike home, and I was scared to death of it. I have, except for riding it like halfway down a store aisle when I first tested it out, I have not ridden my bike. I have this unreasonable fear that I'm going to fall or embarrass myself. And I'm afraid if I fall and I'm alone that there will be nobody to help me. But I'm afraid that if I ride my bike with best friend and I fall, then I'm going to embarrass myself. Even though he loves me, he might mock me. But he would still love me even if I fell down. And he would make sure I was okay. But it's just this unreasonable fear. So I bought a bike and then never used it. Well, moving to where best friend lives, he's got an awesome bike trail. There's no reason not to. So my goal this year is to ride my new bike, not just have one sitting in the garage. So, another one is to actually use at least 2 of my Craftsy classes. I've been hoarding them. I buy the Craftsy classes because they're techniques I think I'm interested in, and then I don't necessarily do them. So I want to actually use 2 of my Craftsy classes this year and make at least one project from them. I want to move. We keep talking about moving. We've moved little bits of things, but I haven't actually moved. So moving is a goal this year, along with, after that, putting my house up for sale. And the last one is to complete the Couch to 5K training and participate in at least one 5K run. And it looks like we might have already found one. Best friend knew this was kind of on my list, so it turns out that Barry's Brothers Coffee, which is our favorite coffee, is sponsoring a 5K to help the Rainbow Hospice or something like that. It's a local place. And so he suggested that we do that one because it's in June. That should give me enough time. I'm done with physical therapy, and I've been given permission to, within reason, start moving again. So I have been trying to make my one-on-ones at work, walking one-on-ones, and I will be starting back up again. I am sad. I lost my Fitbit over Christmas. No idea where it is. We have some suspicions, but there's no proof. I did order the new Fitbit Charge HR, which has a heart rate monitor. I was already going to order that one when it came out, That had been my plan ever since it was announced. But it's, I want the purple one, and it's on pre-order, and I've ordered it, but it won't be around for another 5 to 7 weeks. So right now I am without a Fitbit, and I struggle a little bit because part of me feels like, well, none of my walking and stuff counts because I don't have any way to track it. And I realize I could buy a cheap pedometer and do something, but it just hasn't been my thing. So anyway, but I am trying to get some more walking in. I'm trying to get at least 3 hours in, and some of that I'm building in by having my one-on-ones with my employees are walking around the track at work. So, but my goal is to finish the Couch to 5K program and do a 5K. So, and now we have one kind of in mind. So, we haven't signed up yet. He just found it this morning. So, and we needed to check to make sure the dates were going to actually work out. So anyway, ride my bike, do a couple craftsy classes, move, put up my house for sale, and do the Couch to 5K. So, and a theme, somebody suggested a theme of simplify and declutter, because part of what I'm doing with even simplifying the podcast is, you know, making things easier. So, that is all I had for you guys. So, the resolutions are what I was going to share this week. And please, please put something in the what do you want me to share thread, because otherwise I'm going to feel really silly if it just sits there empty, and I'm going to feel very unloved. So please don't do that to me. There's a small part of me that still feels like that kid in high school. So I will talk to you guys all next time. I am going to try and always record Monday, Tuesday. Yesterday was a little screwed up because I had a chiropractor appointment, and I had a nasty headache yesterday. So, best friend teaches on Tuesday, so I did it today. He found out that he is not going to class every Monday. He's going every other Monday. So it may shift a little bit, but I'm going to really try and do a more weekly podcast for you guys. So I will talk to you guys all next time. Till then, bye now.